Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valerie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, the home of your burning and learning. And today, I told you that today we're doing the Grand Canyon, and I'm joined with Avi.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are going to get started on the river. And I just realized I had no pins ready to go because it's been one of those days. All right, so I don't have this fully transferred onto the board. I've got the river in and the base. This is a 14-inch Trekell Baltic birch round, and I have it linked down in the description. I will also post the round pattern if you're interested over in our Facebook group. I did put a 9x12 rectangular pattern. It's the same thing, only you're not going to have the edge. I'm not having the edges that you are, but all of the information is the same. So it shouldn't be a problem continuing just what we've discussed here, and then continuing out to the edge. Hey, Burl. Hey, Sonia. Hey, Andrea. Sorry, Spence. I'm going to use the 18S at 2.5, and we are going to start with the water. Now, what I wanted to point out is showing you that different shadows within the water, and that's what we're going to go based off of. In fact, I'm going to switch over our reference photo to the sepia.
Sheila's here too.
Hey, Sheila. It helps if I would do the right one. Not that one. This one. There we go. Then that way you can see the light better. So we use the light that's hitting the water to really get our movement, and we've got some waves here and there, just the ripples of the water running, and that's our darker areas. So we'll get started with that, and it's really light up here. Then we've got the dark bank of the trees, so it might be easier to put in these bank of trees than it is to actually put in the water. That way we're negative burning. I want to take this pen off. I actually got a second stand for my pens, and I'm confusing myself. There we go. So we'll get started. Okay. I guess I can bump it up to 3, and it's going to be tapping in these bushes because we don't.
Excuse me.
You okay? We don't see detail. You okay?
Yep.
I am going to zoom in and actually kind of move the camera down so it's out of my face. There we go. The cat is quiet. I guess people didn't want to do the Grand Canyon today. I know I threw people off by having to cancel last night. All good?
Yeah.
Alright. So what we're going to do is, we know we have our line right here of the light water. And of course I don't have the base of the canyon in, but I can get these in. And I'm just tapping with the tip of the pen so that it's not a solid burn. It looks like we have foliage without putting in the details. Alright, and I can move my pen back and forth, kind of rolling the tip. Trying to see where my darkest dark's already at.
Teresa Luke Singer's here.
Hey, Teresa. And we want to follow the direction of the bank, so it's going to go down at an angle. So we want to make sure we have that. And if you were able to work on the dragon, the cliffs of the Grand Canyon should definitely feel easier for you when we get there, because we've already been practicing those. I've been trying to make it where one subject in some way kind of falls into the next. Alright, so we got some foliage in here, because this is where the hit my nose. The wall of the canyon starts at the base, so let's get some tapping in there and kind of going out into the water. Now, if I look at my sepia photo, I can see that we do have a light burn. It's light, even lighter than this. I could actually go lighter. But we've also got the shadows from the bushes. So we can kind of drag that down and go back into...
Teresa says very detailed.
Oh, I tried to make the pattern for you guys, which is actually the same pattern I'm using. I may not transfer all the lines, but it's the same pattern. I tried to make it as easy as possible and not overdo it, but there are a lot of main lines for the canyon walls, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to put every bush in. I put in like the bigger bushes. So let's see here. What do we got here? We got it coming out. And then right here we have some waves. So I'm actually going to drag down in the direction of the water flow. And that's what we really need to watch, is where the water is flowing and how it's flowing.
Sorry.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah. Andrea Tolbert is here.
Yeah, I said
Did you?
at the very top. Mm-hmm. What,
Is she at the top?
She's at the very top.
Oh, okay.
She was the first
I saw her
person
again and threw me off. She said hi.
We'll say hi again.
Probably was saying hi to somebody else.
Tapping down. We're gonna leave some of that. We gotta make it light. And then this is poking out. So we have a overlap, because we'll have a wall coming down here. This will be an overlap of these trees on this, coming out into the water. And we're not going to see any detail. We'll see a little down at the bottom because the canyon is the way it is. We're not going to see a lot of detail on the bushes. We'll see it up close here by the rocks, the bigger rocks in the foreground, but all this, we're going to see less detail, and so we need to pay attention to that.
Did Beryl send you her portrait?
She did.
Oh.
I responded to her. In fact, everybody that sent me in their artwork, I responded back to. So if you didn't get a response from me, I did not get it. Just check your email address that you sent it to, and I'll go ahead and accept it, because I know there are a few people that were sending to the wrong place. Now, we can go, I'm still just tapping. Tap, tap, tap. And we need to, the horizon line goes this way, so we need to follow not only the horizon line this way, but how the bushes are coming down this way. And I know that's a lot to think about. Let's see here. So that's the top of our shadow. We have a line right here of our trees and bushes, and they're just scrub bushes. There was a couple of trees in the foreground. This is all scrub brush and bushes. So we need to make sure they're tiny. We want to follow the direction this way on the horizon, as well as, and you could use a ball tip pen for this. So that's a wall coming down. So our trees stop right here. And we're just going to tap them in. Ball tip works. Small spoon shader should probably do just fine, because we're just tapping. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. And I just transferred this pattern less than an hour ago, or about an hour ago I started.
Yeah, you were working on it all last night.
Well, I was just working on printing it out, because it's printed out on tracing paper. So I could do a direct transfer that way. Alright, so now we got some bushes here. And we're going to start forming our river line. None of this is going to be straight lines. Things are going to overlap.
You say river line, but you're not actually making a line.
No.
Okay.
The line the river makes along the bank.
Okay.
Tap that in there, and then we have some blank space below this dark area that has some scrub on top. And these are just trying to make them small marks. Now, mine are going to be bigger because I'm using a bigger board. If you're doing the 9x12, this is going to be even smaller. You can just tap in.
You know, from the 90s, if the band TLC did this pattern, they'd have to alter it.
To include a waterfall?
No, because they don't want no scrubs.
Alright, so we have some land that comes out here, and it's definitely going to be important to watch the angles. This is where dirt meets the scrub. See right here, and over here, tap in. See, this is going to be darker up here. I can always go back and darken it. And it's just going to be a matter of working down the river line. And at some point, we get dirt, rocks in between the river line, bank line, and the trees. So we have to pay attention to that. And it looks like I didn't get that far in putting it in.
Andrea didn't get an email from you, so she's not sure if you got hers.
I will definitely look. Cute. Well, you got the tablet. That's the one with the emails. Alright, so I'm just going to where the trees are so I can tap this in. Because I don't want to outline. If I outline, it's going to start looking a little off. I want this to look real. I want it to look like the photo as much as possible. It will never be perfect like the photo because I'm not a camera. And you will always see things differently. The under email. He's checking Andrea to see if the email came in. So we got a little scrub here. And so this is going to get bigger for some of these. And I can use the edge to kind of get some wispier branches out. Right here. Long water line. We should go up a little bit here, make some of them taller, some not as tall.
Was it? Is she talking about her for the gallery?
Yes.
Yeah, it's here.
It is there?
Yeah,
Did I mark it? Because I've been starring them all. And if I didn't respond, I'm so sorry. It's been one of those weeks. Get started.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, Andrea.
I'm eating, I made barbecue chicken and rice. And I'm just having a snack because I got to go to the grocery store after this. So,
see right here we got dirt. We can go ahead and put that in. I'm just doing quick ovals. I can always go back and put the foliage in, but this is just so I know what's what. And so we put that in there. It's been a while since I've actually burned on birch. It's kind of missing it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not dealing with that frustration?
Yeah. Yes, this is much calmer. Alrighty. So we have some land that's going back and forth. So I'm going to use the tip of the pen and follow that land. And if you hear the outside, sorry, It is getting warm here, so I have the window open. What am I doing?
Didn't pop up. There it is.
Oh, thank you so much, Marty.
Thank you, Marty.
You did not have to do that.
Appreciate
Thank
it
you.
very much.
Helps so much. I really appreciate it. And then nothing special popped up? It was supposed to pop up?
No.
We didn't get a Bernadette?
I didn't see one. Marty says, "Hi Val, just dropping in. Hope you guys are well and staying safe. Good to see you both. Love you both."
Love to you too, Marty.
That's very nice, Marty. Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely not our safety I would ever be worried about. Not about us.
Pearl says, "Cold here."
It's hot here. We don't have air conditioning.
Nope.
Just tapping this in. Getting that full. Like, and this will all make more sense once we have more of the area around it. Right now it looks a little weird, but once we get more information in, your brain starts going, aha, I see. I see. Let's get that in there.
Needs an initial lines. Give your brain a lattice to work from.
Yeah.
Expand from.
See, we know this is a wall, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in.
There also has a message popped up.
Oh,
I
good.
didn't see it.
It may have been quick. It should have been Bernadette. See?
I'll have to go back later and see. Maybe
I'm just
been
going
looking
to
down.
put that in. Yeah, I'm going to put that in, and hopefully I put it in the right spot. It's not like I can't bring it in if I didn't. Alright, let's use our eraser. Get rid of some of this graphite. See, right here, what you're seeing, that's part of the grain. Like, there was a branch that came out here, there was a branch that came out here, and I wanted the grain to kind of follow the direction of the water, so that's why I picked this direction and hoping of making it more interesting. So right here we got a water line. We have the light right here. And then we've got shadow back here that goes into this line back here. Because everything's going to go in and out, in and out. So it'll appear and then disappear. Hmm? You're always going over there going, And it's like, what? What do you...
I was responding to your comment.
Oh, okay. Let's say I don't know what is. What did I miss? Alright.
Not that message, Spence. Should have been an animation of Bernadette popping up in the corner. Oh, okay, not Bernadette though. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So I didn't see that either, bro.
Huh. I'll have to look at that. Alright, let's get rid of some of this graphite. And I'm actually going to turn my heat down just a bit. I'm going to go down to 2. I was closer to 3 here. I'm going to go down to 2 so we can get some of the shading of the river in. And we're going to zoom in and hopefully not hit my face on the camera. Because that's always fun. And that gets screwed up a little bit. Alright, so right here we have shadow. Get that in there. You see, right?
Sonia didn't get an email? Hold on.
Okay.
I'm looking.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. I may not have seen Sonia's because I don't.
I'm refreshing the mailbox.
Follow the river. Follow the river. So this is where some darker shadow is. In fact, we got more light up here And we're shadowing here. Following it around. And shadows are going to stretch and give us our direction. Now this goes up to the line. And this comes down. And what this is more light hitting. It's kind of a wave. So it's more light hitting. Let's get some of the shadow in here.
I don't see Sonia's email. I
Okay.
don't see that we have one.
Well then, when hers does come through, I'll make sure and accept it. Okay. I'm going to bump back up to 3. Do you guys want me to use this? Well, I think I kind of want to show you other pens in case you don't have that pen. I think we will go with the 9M because you could definitely do this with the 9M. And that'll allow you to do the little brush. And then my tip is as I move around. Oh, I am hot. It's too soon. Alrighty. So now we can get into these little areas. And see at the base where the riverbank is, that tends to have a darker line. Because that's where the least amount of light is currently hitting, is right at the base of our. So we can go in here a little darker, and I'm trying to not make a line. I'm going up and down, pulling things out, kind of going back and forth, and then in the lighter areas, I can always do my ovals with this one. So your 9, what I don't have is a straight. There we go. And this comes out. We gotta follow that horizon line, and because I came down too far with this, it's gonna look a little off. So let's get some of these darker foliages in. So it stands out.
Girl's gonna redo her tree frog, so there's a comparison.
For the show or just in general?
I think she's talking about the show. Correct me if I'm wrong, Beryl.
I don't really she has time. And that wasn't a big piece, so I don't know, maybe she does. Alright, so we got our bank line, and we're not making it straight, as in I'm not outlining it. I'm just tapping. And we have some darker coming over our edge here. And this is where the water's turning. And we need to make sure and get some of the darker where the water's, it's almost like a little waterfall. Like maybe there's some rocks under here. So we're going to get that in there.
Oh, she says in general.
Oh, okay. This goes up. We gotta follow the lines coming down as well. I know it seems like a lot, but once you get into the groove, this will be much easier.
It always seems like a lot.
It always seems like a lot. And then you get going and you're like, okay, okay. Feeling good, feeling good. Oops, screwed up. World's ending. Okay, okay, got it back, got it back. Doing good. Be okay. That is the cycle of a pyrographer.
It's not a screw up. It's an amicable happenstance.
An amicable happenstance. So there's a little darker in here. And I'm trying to make sure I can. Maybe I need to make a funny video about that.
About what?
The cycles of a pyrographer. That could be fun.
Beryl says, and at the rate she burns, it might be ready for round 2 of the show.
Who, me or you?
Her.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about me.
No, her.
I'm sorry. My brain totally
I mean, don't get me wrong. You burn slow too.
Alright, lost my place. Bring this down.
Girl says happy little rocks.
Happy little rocks. But we can't see those rocks. So we're not going to try to put them there. But we are going to recognize that more than likely they're there. And that's why we've got a bit of a waterfall.
But we know they're there, man.
We know they're there. So that's part of like kind of the same thing as paying attention to, say, the muscles of a face. You don't see the muscles, but you know they're there. And they define what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing...
That's anatomy.
Happy Bernadette. So knowing...
No, that wasn't Bernadette. Bernadette would be like, that's anatomy! Spence and Burl are competing to see who's slower.
Well, Spence, you actually have to burn in order to compete.
Ouch!
Sorry, I love you, Spence.
Sweet burn.
Sorry, Spence. But he knows it's true. He knows it.
I'm right there with you, Spence.
He knows it. Let's see here. So we have, I'm trying to figure out between the shadowing. See, like this right here is a water shadow. I'm not going to touch you down on that because I want it softer.
I myself am in my studio every day, and I walk in and I go, yes, all my materials are here. Excellent. And then I leave.
I haven't been in my studio the last few weeks, or the last few days myself.
I know.
Other than to get this done. Alright, so let's see. Some of this is shadow, so I gotta keep that in mind. Then, and
As I'm talking here, he's laughing. I don't know if he's laughing at us or if he's laughing at Burl. Because they're having a serious competition about who is slower.
I don't know. I think it's a tie between those two.
It's a real slow burn situation.
Alright, let's tap this in, and we need to follow. Keep this. Ooh, my pen.
Man, my dad jokes are on point today.
Alright, so we have a bit of a little. Let's see here. I lost my place again.
Typical.
That goes in right there. Alright, there I am. There I am. I found me. I shouldn't have rushed to get this transferred. That way I could spend more time with it. That's my doing. Alright, so this, we got a little bit that goes up. Alright, so I brought that down. That, we're going to have a wall here. We're going to have the dirt coming down. And then we got some bushes in here. So we're going to put those in with this pen because we can go in really quick circles and kind of get that texture. We know it's here. It kind of climbs up the wall. But I'm not going to go all the way up until I get the pattern laid down so I get it in the right spot.
Oh, he was laughing at you, your burn.
Oh,
You burned him.
I'm sorry.
Burl says it's our cool as a cucumber Canadian attitude.
Alright.
Cucumbers are cool unless you leave them out.
And they warm up.
And then they warm up. So is it the cucumber that's cool or is it the environment that it's kept in? So would it be more correct to say cool as a refrigerator that a cucumber is kept in? It's not as catchy, but it is more accurate.
You're thinking too much. Let's see here. So I'm just trying to tap in.
I use them, Burl. I use my art supplies. I move them around and stuff.
Thing is, I need to get you more.
I keep forgetting to give you my list of paints that I need.
Alright, so we kind of got this blocked in. This is definitely going to have more texture in it.
God, we're already at 30 minutes.
Ready? Goodness. Well, I will definitely have this transferred completely for next week. Before we go, I did want to have a discussion. It may not be popular, and it may hurt the video and the channel, but that's gonna have to be okay. So let's back this out a little bit. Looks a little flat. Bring the camera down so it's not in my face. There we go.
Dusting them off does count.
Sure, if it makes you feel better, dusting them off counts.
Yeah.
Alright. So right there, it's got so much to go. And I will try to get this all laid in for next week. But I am going to take the time to use my platform to do what's right. And doing what's right tends to be the hard thing, regardless of the cost. What happened with Mr. Floyd was not right. It was very much a murder and an excessive use of force. The protesters should all be supported and heard and listened to. As a white woman, I do not want to drown out their voices. I want to lift them up so that more people hear them more so than me. You don't have to answer this so that anybody knows the answer. But have you ever said as a white person that you don't see color? That in your head you just accept everybody for who they are? I grew up saying that because that's what I heard other people saying. And even into adulthood, that was a motto. I don't see color. But as a white person, there is a giant flaw in that. When you don't see somebody's color, when you don't recognize who they are as a full person, you also don't recognize their experiences in this country and in this world. You don't take into consideration all of them. Therefore, you're not fully listening to them. You need to see color. You need to appreciate that color and hold that color up equal to yourself. Because there is nobody higher than anybody else. I do not tolerate bullying, lying, or racism. If you disagree with me, you're welcome to leave my channel. There will be more provocative art happening on my channel because as an artist, in order for people to hear what I have to say, it tends to be better coming through art. And again, it is not to drown out the people of color. It is to help lift them up so that people hear them, listen to their experiences. You guys don't know my background. And I've kept that a secret for a reason. It's safety precautions, but over the years it has also been a bit of an embarrassment. And it shouldn't be. But it's an embarrassment because of what I've seen others do. I am legally trained in the use of force. I am legally trained in de-escalation of that force. What I'm seeing across the country and the officers wearing riot gear is escalating the situation and wrong. The officers who are kneeling and walking with the protesters and listening to them, that is correct. There has been an over-militarization of our police in all areas. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And we do not currently have a leader who can lead this country fully as a unit, as a fully as all Americans together. That person occupying the chair only cares about himself, his friends, and those who will listen to him. He is supposed to lead all of us, not a few. And I am going to plead with any active military, whether it's your spouse, your son, your daughter, your friend next door. Remember that your oath is to the Constitution first, not anything else, but the Constitution first. Remember your morals. Remember, we are all Americans. And if you are called upon to use deadly force on an American, that is an unlawful order. And I beg you to please remember that. Because in the end, your choices are what's going to really dictate what happens in this country. You got anything?
Sure. I don't know, some of you might know this, some of you might not. But I was 24 years active duty. I've been deployed multiple times. I can tell you from experience that violence should be the last resort in any situation, at the utter end of anything else, because it's absolutely, it's inflammatory. It always is inflammatory. And most of the situations, and there's a lot of people that would disagree with me. They're like, oh no, you got to use force. It's like, no, the best practice in most situations is de-escalate, and that's why the military has rules of engagement and on escalation of force. And right now, what I see in our country, it's not happening. The escalation of force is not happening. They're going straight to force. They're not trying to negotiate in many cases, and that's absolutely the wrong answer. So, and I can't be more discouraged about that. So, for my military brothers and sisters that are in these situations, remember what the escalation of force is. Remember what it means. And like Val said, remember the difference between, a lawful order and an unlawful order, because that may be something that not only saves somebody else's life, but it may keep the situation from escalating. And it's just plain wrong to ignore those established guidelines anyway.
Use of force requires you to de-escalate.
Yeah. I say that seeking peaceful solutions and de-escalating and moving to a conversation has saved my life multiple times in combat. When I went into situations which could have escalated easily, but I chose not to, even though I was being told to, because I made that moral decision, that ethical decision that no, I'm not going to engage these people because there's a disproportionate amount of force. I see what's going on here. My superiors might not. Because of that, I didn't get promoted to the levels that I probably should have during my career.
Neither did I.
I should have retired at least sergeant first class, maybe even master sergeant, first sergeant. Didn't do that. I only retired as a staff sergeant, but that's okay because I can look myself in the mirror at night because I know that I did the right thing. But that's what our military members have to do, and our police members. The ones that you have to do the right thing. And if there's something happening around you that's not right, you need to stop it, because that's your ethical responsibility to do. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing your job. That's just period. So my heart goes out to everybody who's having to deal with these situations, whether you're a protester or whether you're called to be on the other side of that. We all need to come together in a peaceable way. It's the only way we're going to move forward. And
in moving forward, it's fixing our criminal justice system. It's fixing our economy. It's fixing our education. Because not everybody in this country has the opportunity.
Yeah.
And our country is supposed to be about equal opportunity. What a person does with that is their choice. We don't have that. We do not condone the rioting and the looting. but we understand it, and we hope nobody gets hurt on either side. We don't want to see people hurt. But that is the voice of pain, of anger, of being dehumanized and dismissed. So if you're watching TV and you see a young African American or other persons of color screaming on the TV, I ask you, look past their words and into their eyes and feel their heart. Because almost every time it is going to be pain and heartbreak and sadness that you feel from them. Feel what they feel, and I think you'll have a better idea of what's going on.
Just 2 more things for me, and then
we're done. I don't want to sit here and make it a preaching thing.
No.
I just needed to speak out.
Yep. And that's the point of it, because basically what we're saying here is that we are not going to stand idly by. And then, no. But I'm calling on everybody, and this is something that we had to do in the military too, because I've been in units where there was corruption. And the thing that needs to be done in our society is, if you see something happening that's not correct, you need to say something. You need to act. You need to respond to that. Don't just let it happen. It's your moral responsibility to do it. And like I used to tell my soldiers, not just because it's the right thing, but absolutely because it's the right thing, but so that you can look yourself in the mirror, because you'll know, and it's not something that you want to live with. But we absolutely, this is where we stand, and
if that means this channel just doesn't grow anymore, then so be it. I am totally fine with that happening.
But I will tell you, from what I'm seeing in the comments right now, that we appreciate your support. And,
yes, sir.
Toasties are awesome, and we appreciate you. We appreciate every time that you guys show up with us. We are a small channel, but like Valerie said, we have a responsibility to use our voice, and we've been talking about how we use our artwork moving forward, because that's what we do. Like, I'm not going to talk about Val's career, but my career, my days of a soldier are over. Like, I'm retired. But I have another platform now, and I have other skills that other people don't have. So it's my responsibility to use that in the best way that I can. And Valerie is doing the same thing. So that's where we are. That's it.
Thank you so much for listening. Again, this wasn't to preach. This was honestly the hopes of having the silent white majority listen. If you agree, then you're not part of that. You just are helping to support us, and more so those who are really suffering. And I thank you for that. If you disagree, I just ask that you listen and then go on about your day, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And next week, there will be a big announcement for the channel next week, and by next week. And I think we will start along the river and move out. So we'll start with the closest cliffs. So do we have any other questions? I think I need to go take a deep breath.
We have a lot of support.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, Andrea. And I kneel with those. I kneel.
All right.
Mwah, thank you. And don't forget, you're awesome. You can do this. You're a pyro artist. Happy burning, guys. Bye.